Is this the gravity reactor? Really? But it looks like it's just a strange water wheel with a small pump to pump water, drive a generator, and lighting LED. And it certainly does look that way. But it uses gravity to achieve incredible energy amplification. The amplification rate is tens or even hundreds of times more than nuclear fission or fusion and has astonishing properties. Because the size of the demonstration device is small and the original input energy is minute, it doesn't feel dynamic at all. But the energy amplification rate using gravity, the strongest and largest on Earth, shows astonishing numbers and real phenomena, and if that amplification rate can be confirmed, it means that we can create enormous amounts of energy infinitely by simply increasing the size and number. In any case, to generate electricity, rotational power, or torque, is required to rotate the generator. In the case of this demonstration machine, the acceleration gears are stacked. So the torque is quite heavy, and the force applied to the outer circumference of a circle with a radius of 1 centimeter, 3.5 kilograms, is quite heavy. And it is only by continuing to apply this force that the LED lights up. However, the actual water flow rate of this pump is 40 cc per second, and the power output is only 40 grams of force. But it is actually moving 3.5 kilogram. Within this small demonstration device, energy amplification and multiplication is occurring everywhere, something that is thought to be completely impossible with modern science and technology. These values are the result of rigorous calculations according to the law of conservation of energy, which is said to be absolute. The cause of this amplification and multiplication is because it utilizes gravity, and there are no other factors that can cause amplification. To explain this amplification process in an abstract way, the effect of the flux capacitor is that a chain reaction occurs within a turbine, with a very special and unique function built into the core of the gravity reactor. The flux capacitor appears in the popular science fiction movie, Back to the Future, and is a very powerful engine that can jump through time and space, but the words that make up its name are, strangely enough, flux meaning flow and capacitor meaning to store the flow. The functional configuration of this chain reaction is exactly the same as that of the gravity reactor. And the turbine that is the core of the gravity reactor is composed of a distorted space shape that has the function of stopping time and storing water flowing in from a small water flow, converting all the weight of the stored water into stable low rotation heavy torque energy, inducing the compound interest effect of gravitational acceleration, resulting in a large amplification effect of energy. The difference between this real-life gravity reactor and the flux capacitor system in the science fiction movie is that it does not require or generate explosive energy, has a simple monocoque structure, uses gravity to achieve overwhelming energy amplification, and continues to amplify forever with gravity. Both adults and children seem to believe that in the future, the day will come when a time machine can be built through scientific evolution. However, the motivation for wanting to use a time machine is always selfish and always creates destructive problems. The numerical results of this amazing performance of reproducing the gravity reactor, which is impossible even in the virtual world of science fiction movies, are an inconvenient fact for the relevant scholars and related industries, and are full of elements that negate the time, effort, money, achievements, and status spent on enormous hypotheses and experiments. So they try to ignore it with all their might and unilaterally refuse to confirm even trivial theories and numerical calculations. However, It is not their job at this time to confirm basic physical theories and mathematical calculations. And it is also true that they should not be forced to do things that are difficult for them to understand or recognize, but in the near future, they will be forced to recognize this reality. The more unbelievable an event or phenomenon is, the more the general public seeks the opinions of experts. But we have decided to make public a demonstration test that does not require any confirmation of scientific theories, physical calculations, or numerical comparisons. This test does not even require scientific calculations. To prove this, we need to know how much power this special turbine alone can generate. How much energy can it amplify? To clearly confirm this, disconnect the gear on the generator side and the power shaft connected to the generator. Then, the turbine body will rotate smoothly. If you lightly pull the line wound on the reel, it will rotate at high speed. This means that the turbine body has a monocoque structure and does not contain any mechanical gears, springs, magnets, etc. Attach a weight of about 2 kilograms to the end of the line that is hanging down after being unwound from the reel. Then, turn on the trigger pump and start the turbine. When this is done, even if water flows into the capacitor part of the turbine, there is no reaction force to store it, so it will start to rotate relatively fast at first, but as the load increases, it will rotate slower and the torque will increase. The turbine will steadily wind up the reel, and at the same time, the value on the weight scale will steadily decrease. And it was soon completely lifted up. Because the torque load of the weight is slightly lower than the torque output of the turbine, there is some unevenness in the rotation speed. But it continues to win steadily. The source of the torque energy to wind up this 2 kilograms weight is only the extremely slight fluid movement phenomenon of water being released from a height of about 20 centimeters at a speed of 40 cc per second and circulating. After about 7 minutes, it has been steadily raised to a height of 50 centimeters. Even if you turn off the power to the trigger pump, it stops with the weight still attached. If you pull it down a little forcefully, The turbine will easily and effortlessly rotate in the reverse direction. In other words, even if you overload this turbine, the monocoque structure means that it is highly unlikely to break. Just to be clear, this phenomenon is not something that can be reproduced using ordinary pulleys or levers. The gravity reactor simultaneously and coaxially amplifies a force that overcomes a force of 2 kilograms 20 newtons from a force of 40 grams 0.4 newtons. In other words, a gravity reactor can infinitely amplify the power that turns the generator with gravity, so even if the initial energy or instantaneous energy is small, by increasing the number and size of the reactors, the power generation efficiency will increase by 10, 100, or 1,000 times over time, resulting in enormous energy. It is a safe and secure infinite energy generation system that uses the power of nature. In contrast, thermal power generation using oil or nuclear power involves converting oil into thermal energy, boiling water, and using high-pressure steam to turn turbines, so the power generation efficiency for that thermal energy is limited to about 45%. Recently, with the advancement of high technology, it is possible to generate enormous amounts of electricity in an instant through further increases in temperature, pressure, and speed. But the waste of mechanical friction and exhaust heat also increases, and the power generation efficiency tends to decrease. There is no doubt that the biggest cause of global warming and boiling is our reliance on this inefficient thermal energy. The technology and operating principle of the gravity reactor have been established, so all that remains is to create a large-scale practical machine and mass-produce it. For the inventor of this system, developing a large machine is overwhelmingly easier than developing this small demonstration machine, and it can be manufactured immediately. Originally, new energy development requires huge amounts of money, and without the understanding and approval of experts, it is very difficult to raise the development funds. But when it comes to manufacturing a real gravity reactor, neither authority nor huge funds are required. This is because the operating theory is based on the basics of physics. The system configuration is very simple to begin with. No special materials or ingredients are required. And it rotates at an ultra-low speed and operates semi-permanently with stable output without special management. In addition, an extremely rational golden ratio has been discovered for expansion, and mass production is possible immediately. Because it can build a society where people can live in peace and equality. Even in remote areas, deserts, and jungles where there is no power supply infrastructure or where it is not possible to install it, a gravity reactor allows people to enjoy an urban lifestyle filled with electric energy. And there is no need to make efforts to decarbonize or save energy, or to achieve normative goals such as the SDGs. Individuals can enjoy the wealth and convenience that they value, while improving the global environment and building a peaceful and equal, independent society. Is the source of the absolute amplifying energy that moves the entire universe, and the source of the vital energy of all living things on Earth is also this force of gravity. Is there any other appropriate way to express this other than as a foolish sin, to rely on thermal energy instead of using this infinite and clean energy and destroy the global environment?